Okay, so if you're even thinking about a cruise right now, you've probably seen the headlines about rising costs. And one thing might be making you a little nervous: surprise fees. Well, today we're going to tackle that head on. We're talking about fuel surcharges, and we're using some fantastic analysis from Savvy Cruise Life to get you the real story. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and ask the big question, right? Are cruise lines about to start tacking on these extra fuel fees to your vacation? I mean, it's what everyone planning a trip wants to know. And you know what? It's a totally fair question. I did it. You see the prices at the gas pump, you hear the news about oil prices, and it's just natural to start worrying about your travel budget. So let's break down what's actually going on here. All right, so here's the short and sweet answer. For now, most of the big major cruise lines have not brought these fees back, so you can breathe a little. That's the good news. But the key word there is yet. Things are a bit volatile, which is exactly why you need to understand how this whole thing works. So why are we even talking about this again? I mean, this issue was pretty much dormant for years. Well, it really all comes down to one critical number, and that number is the price of oil. You see, once a barrel of crude oil crosses that $100 mark, it's like a switch gets flipped. This is a threshold that's actually written into the fine print of most cruise contracts, and it officially gives them the green light to add a fuel surcharge. And this is a key point from Savvy Cruise Life. This is where people get tripped up. This isn't some brand new sneaky thing the cruise lines just came up with. The power to add this fee, oh, it's been sitting right there in the terms and conditions this whole time. So, just because they can add the fee doesn't mean they will. Not every cruise line is rushing to do it. And right now, we're actually seeing two very different approaches play out in the industry. Yeah, this isn't just a what-if game. This is really happening. While the major cruise lines you might be thinking of are holding off, some other lines in different parts of the world have already pulled the trigger. And that gives us a real-world peek at what these charges can actually look like. For instance, a couple of cruise lines based in Asia have already started adding surcharges. We're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of $19 to $25 per person per night. Now think about that. For a couple on a 7-night cruise, you're suddenly looking at an extra $260 to $350 on your final bill. Wow, that adds up really, really fast. Which, of course, brings us right back to the question you really care about. What about the big guys? Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, the ones most of us are booking. Why haven't they followed suit? Well, there are two main reasons. First, and this is a big one, they know we hate it. We absolutely hate surprise fees. It just leads to angry customers and a ton of bad press, and that's just bad for business. But second, they're smart. A lot of them plan way ahead and lock in their fuel prices with long-term contracts. It's a practice called hedging, and it gives them this financial cushion that protects them and us from these crazy price spikes. But here's a little insider info that a lot of first-time cruisers might not realize. Just because you don't see a specific line on your bill that says fuel surcharge, it doesn't mean rising fuel costs aren't impacting what you pay. Oh yeah, cruise lines are very, very good at finding other ways to cover their costs. They might just quietly increase the base cruise fare for any new bookings, or maybe you notice the price of that drink package went up a bit, or the cost for excursions, or other little extras on board. They all might start to creep up. The cost gets passed on to us. It's just done a lot more quietly. Okay, but all of this leads to the one question that causes the most stress for anybody who's already put their money down on a cruise. This is it, isn't it? This is the one that keeps you up at night. You've found your perfect cruise. You've paid the deposit. Maybe you've even paid for the whole thing. Can they still come back to you, hand out, and ask for more money for fuel? And I've got to be honest with you. The answer is technically yes. That fine print we talked about, it usually gives them the right to do it. But, and this is a huge but, it is extremely rare. Cruise lines know that doing this causes a massive uproar. Think of it as their last resort, not their first move. They would only even consider it if fuel prices went through the roof and stayed there for a really, really long time. Okay, so with all that said, what should you do? What's the actual game plan for booking a cruise in this kind of environment? Honestly, the best piece of advice comes straight from Savvy Cruise Life, and it's this. You don't need to overthink this. Seriously. It's about being aware of the situation, not being alarmed by it. It really just comes down to 3 simple things. First, just focus on the total price you see today. If that number works for your budget, great, go ahead and book it. Second, be aware that the clause is in the contract, but don't obsess over some worst-case scenario that's probably not going to happen. And third, just understand that cruise prices in general might move around a bit this year to reflect their costs. But here it is, the most important takeaway of all. Please do not let all this talk scare you away from booking that amazing vacation you've been dreaming of. This is just part of the travel world right now, and being informed is your best defense. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one simple question. Just look at the cruise you want at the price it's listed for right this minute. Is that a price you're comfortable and happy with? If the answer is yes, then that's your answer. Go for it and start getting excited for your trip.